Yeah.
Look at us. We're so cute sitting here. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm Kelee.
I'm Jimmy.
I'm so excited for today's episode. We're talking about Bachelorette drama. I feel like we're going to have a lot of opinions.
Yes. We've both been on some Bachelorettes.
I've only been on one.
Okay. Same.
Oh. We are experts.
Here we go. Again. Come to us. But I've heard a lot about them. And, hot topic lately, the Bachelorettes. I think a lot of people are coming around to the fact that these have gotten a little out of hand. So I guess maybe we could just go right out the gate by saying that. But also, brides deserve to feel very special.
That's true.
Yeah, so we'll find the balance maybe today on the podcast.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes when it comes to like wedding events or like fashion, rings, like stuff like that, people can be quick to be like, oh, well, if you care that much about that, that's like a superficial thing. And like you should care more about the marriage and like whatever than the ring or the wedding dress or like whatever. And I think you can care about both and like a reasonable person. Like I consider myself a fairly reasonable person and I try to be open-minded, but I still want to like my engagement ring and I still want to have like a really amazing wedding because I don't know, I just really appreciate weddings and like flowers and whatever. And like I can see in the future if I start planning this wedding, people are going to be like, well, you don't need that. Like the marriage is more important. And it's like, of course the marriage is more important. Like, of course the marriage is more important than the shape of the diamond on your wedding ring or your engagement ring. Like, of course. But you can still value your marriage more than anything else in life and still want an engagement ring that you love. And I just feel like sometimes it's easy to be like, well, just forget about that. Or like, don't get caught up in that. Like, don't even worry about your bachelorette. Like, it doesn't even matter. But it's like, it's okay to care about certain things in life, even though they're not the most important thing in life. I feel like that's something that we can keep in mind as we record or as we talk about it and listen back. Because it's like some of the problems might seem stupid or superficial, but I don't know. You're allowed to debate superficial things sometimes.
No, I agree. Yeah, I'm going to reference one of my favorite. She's like a social worker. She has her doctorate. She's a professor at like the University of Texas, Austin.
Oh, cool.
And I love her to death. I'm going to save my reference for her. But that is the take that I'm taking because I agree.
Yeah.
I would care about it as well. And I think you have every right to care about it. You know what I mean? I think sometimes it's more so when you're putting your own expectations on other people is where the lines get a little bit, crossed. But I agree. Like you're going to wear that ring every day for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So it should be something that you love, And I don't think that's superficial to say in any way.
Yeah.
And I also think if you want the bachelorette of whatever your dream is, then I think that you deserve that as well. And you should do that.
Yeah.
It just, balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
being honest about what the expectation is for the trip. I feel like that's been happening a lot now where there's not an honest expectation and then people don't know what they're signing up for, and then that's when it gets crazy.
That's a great point. I honestly feel like expectations and clearly communicating them, that's just important in every situation ever, but especially true on group trips and bachelorettes.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. I'm just going to talk about it right now. So Dr. Brene Brown. I don't know if you've probably heard of her, right?
Yeah, she's an icon.
Yeah. She's like studies vulnerability and shame and everything, but she always says clear is kind. So people kind of skate around or go around these topics and subjects while not talking to them and being honest. Being clear and honest is the kindest thing that you could do. I think the same thing goes for these bachelorette parties. I met someone the other day. They're going on a bachelorette party to Costa Rica.
Wow.
Okay. She's like, this is a trip. Not a bachelorette party, you know what I mean? But with clear expectations saying like, hey, I would love to go to Costa Rica for my bachelorette party. This is the price range it's likely going to fall into. This is what we're going to do while we're there. This is how long we're going to go. Let me know if you're interested. And then you can't have hard feelings if people say no.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like the take has to be on bachelorettes now, because there's an expectation now that everyone's going to go no matter what, but it's also like got to be realistic.
Yeah.
Not everyone could afford a bachelorette party to Costa Rica in like October. So that's why, and planning ahead is always great. So
yeah. And I feel like it's the same with destination weddings. And this is how I've always tried to see it. And what I keep in mind when I talk about destination weddings. I think when you have this idea, like when a lot of couples first present this idea to their friends and family, a lot of people are quick to be like, well, you can't ask people to fly to Italy, or like you can't ask people to fly to here or drive 10 hours or like whatever. And in my opinion, you can ask people anything. You can present them the option and ask if they want to go, invite them to come, but you just can't be mad if and when they say no.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So I think ask if you want to ask. Ask your friends if they want to go on that trip with you if you want. But yeah, don't be upset when people have to say no.
Yeah.
Or if people just want to say no.
Right. I think that's fair, you know?
Yeah. So obviously when someone asks you to be in their bridal party, there's an expectation that you have to participate, or you will be participating in multiple other events in addition to the wedding day. And so I was wondering, is paying for a bachelorette or bachelor party trip part of that expectation, and like to what extent? And I feel like it maybe depends on the person or the group, but it's an interesting line when it comes to like, I agreed to be in this person's bridal party, but I just don't want to go on the bachelorette. And it's like, should you have said that from the beginning? Like, are you allowed to say that, or does it just come along as part of being in their bridal party, is just doing these other things? And maybe that's a matter of communication from the beginning, but I just feel like some of these stories are going to make us question, like, is she just being a shitty friend? Or like, should she have even accepted to be in this bridal party? Like that kind of thing. But we can...
Oh, okay. I'm excited to hear the stories. Yeah.
Yay. Okay, last thing before we jump into it, I have a request for our listeners. Okay, so obviously we want to grow the podcast. So if everyone shares the podcast with one person, I feel like that would be very valuable. So anyone that's listening, if you have a friend that you think would like it, just share it with one person, and that's it.
Yeah, send it to their DM. You could tag them in the comments. We'd love to see that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's jump into it.
Yay.
There's so many good ones. We can start here. Am I the asshole for not including my sister-in-law in photos during my bachelorette party because she wore white? I'm getting married. Yay! And my brother John asked me to include his girlfriend Sarah as a bridesmaid as a way to get her involved with our family since he wants to propose soon. I wasn't happy. She's quite snobbish, almost in a comically villainous way. She once made fun of the fact that I get most of my groceries from the local big box supercenter and not somewhere with a more high quality product. But I love John and it mattered a lot to him, so I agreed. On to the issue. On the final night of my bachelorette party, we decided to have one big meal that was really pricey and fancy that we all saved up for. Sarah said she had to take an emergency work meeting and for us to go ahead first. The restaurant was walkable from our hotel. Guys, when Sarah showed up, I was floored. She came in a white sparkly sequin number with a tulle skirt and tiara. When we were planning the trip, my maid of honor made it abundantly clear that everyone was supposed to wear pink so that we could get a really cute photo together at the restaurant. I'm not even kidding. Her outfit was so bridal looking. The waitress actually asked if we were having a joint bachelorette party. I was so upset that when it came time to take photos, I absolutely refused to have Sarah in them. She said it wasn't her fault because she didn't get the memo, but I told her it was common sense to not wear a bridal looking dress to a bachelorette party if you're not the bride. Plus, she was in the group chat and even made comments about another girl's outfit when we were talking about what we wanted to wear, so I know that she knew. All of my friends were on my side and they made sure she didn't end up in the photos. When we got home, she pitched a fit to my brother saying that we bullied her at my party and deliberately left her out. She was almost pissed because a lot of family and friends noticed she wasn't in the photos and I wasn't afraid to tell them exactly why. My brother's really upset though because she's been crying and whining about it nonstop since. Apparently they're both so mad that they're going to skip Father's Day brunch, so the whole thing is blowing up even more. I'm starting to feel bad because I told my mom that me and my brother and Sarah were fighting a lot now, so I'm not sure if I'm being the asshole here. My brother called me a bridezilla, but I really feel like Sarah was trying to ruin my night.
Yeah, I mean, the tiara is a lot. When I heard tiara, I'm like, oh, shit.
I feel like this is an expectation
of
bridal parties, weddings, being in someone's group.
Yeah. Okay, so the bachelor party that I had gone on the most recent one, I've gone on bachelor parties too, but like they're just, you know, nothing like a Bachelorette.
Yeah.
But the Bachelorette that I was on in Nashville, every single day, the itinerary, she made an itinerary for every day, the complete expectation, and then outfits for every single thing that we were doing. And again, it was so appreciated. Like, it was the best thing that she could have done. So it was like everyone wear like the one night it was like everyone wear pink. We're gonna provide a sparkly cowboy hat to go along that's black, plan accordingly. And then like the next night, like we all wore black the one night, and then like Ashley wore her different color thing, you know what I mean? And then the one night they provided, or the day long thing, they provided like a shirt for us, so like just find cute bottoms to match, like, so we knew exactly what it was. So maybe if it was communicated a little bit more clearly. It sounds like it was, though.
I know. I feel like this is just common sense. You shouldn't wear white to anything. And maybe this is me like looking for the worst in people, but sometimes I feel like people do things that they know are wrong just so they can make a point about like, well, I didn't know, or like, how was I supposed to know that? And it's like, let's think. Like, you're a smart person, right? You know that when someone gets married, typically the bride wears white. You don't have to wear white. Like, let's just let people have their thing.
Yeah.
And obviously she wanted attention. Like, if everyone's wearing pink and she knew that, and she shows up in white sparkles, tulle, and a tiara, like, you don't wear that to dinner on a normal day. So why are you wearing it on your boyfriend's sister's bachelorette?
No, I completely agree. And her going late, it just seems a little suspicious, the whole thing to me. And
also, like, why do you want to stand out at your, like, I almost feel like that's just embarrassing. Like, it is embarrassing that she did that to herself. And obviously she deserves it. I'm gonna think about if this was my life. My bachelorette party, everyone's wearing pink, and my brother's girlfriend shows up in all white. Would I kick her out of the photos? Part of me feels like it would be more embarrassing for this girl if she was in the photos. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I looked at somebody's photos and everyone was wearing pink except the bride and some random girl on the end of the group, I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with that girl? Like, I wouldn't think, oh, which one's the bride? I would be like, okay, weird that she wore that.
Yeah, it's funny too that the waitress asked if they were like a joint. Like, that just further proves her point that like, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that's common sense. So are you the asshole for not letting her in the photos? No, I don't think so. I would be like, be so for real. We did a dress code for the specific purpose of getting a photo of everyone in the dress code. Like, if you think it's stupid, I don't care.
Yeah, and even say that there were 7 girls on the Bachelorette with the bride to be, and everyone else got the memo except for you. That falls on no one but you.
Yeah.
If you ask me. I mean.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
That's not being mean. That's just being honest, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not as if they literally didn't give her the information.
Right. Yeah. If everyone else got it and she didn't, it sounds like her problem.
Also, let's use common sense. If you're in a house with 5 to 10 girls or whatever, and you see everyone getting ready and everyone's walking out the door and you're like, oh, bye, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Like, everyone's wearing pink. Wouldn't you use context clues and be like, oh, wait, was I supposed to wear pink tonight?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any extras? Like, there's a reason you did this. And it's not just because you wanted to wear white and a tulle skirt and a tiara to dinner that night.
The tiara, I can't.
The tiara, come on.
Hilarious. You sold yourself out with that one, girl.
Yeah. And then now they think that, see, like, I just feel like sometimes people... I don't know. Like, I think they're making this more than what it was. Like, my brother's upset and he thinks that we deliberately left her out. I would say to my brother, yeah, I did. I deliberately left her out of the photo, and I told her that to her face because the point of the photo was for everyone to wear pink. She chose to not wear pink, so she was deliberately left out. Yes, that is what's true.
Yeah.
And like, how are you going to be mad at that? And like, you can show the text that you sent. And if she didn't comprehend that, that's on her. I mean, I guess if this bride wanted to be like extra, extra nice, she could have gotten a photo with everyone. But I'm sure that happened on one of the previous nights or activities. And this was just the one themed photo. And she didn't fit the theme.
And at the end of the day, I would be like, bro, like talking to my brother, I'd be like, it was one picture.
Yeah.
She was at everything on the entire Bachelorette weekend. I brought her with me. You wanted me to bring her with me to keep her included.
Yeah.
She wasn't in one photo.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's one photo.
Exactly.
Here are 15 other pictures that she's in from the weekend, and she was out of one.
Yeah.
Let's just not blow this out of the friggin' water. Like, chill. It's a picture. It's a picture. Jesus.
That's what I would say. So are you an asshole? No.
No.
Of course not.
No. I don't even know. I mean, I guess maybe she is a little bit of an asshole.
Who, the OP? Or the...
No, like the one that wore the white.
Yeah, I agree.
She's the asshole, not the OP. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, there's no reason for that except attention and to stir up drama. The overall vote was also not the asshole. Everyone pretty much agreed.
Yay.
Okay, this one seems interesting. I don't know all the details.
Ooh, okay. Blind react.
Yes. Would I be the asshole if I ruin the surprise element of my friend's bachelorette? My 29 female best friend D, 29 female, is getting married later in the year and I'm a bridesmaid. I feel like she's made me a bridesmaid as she has to have her others as their family, and she wanted me to make up for their lack of effort. That's sad. The only other bridesmaids are 21 and 17. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you definitely need someone older then.
Yeah. D has asked for a total surprise bachelorette party and has only given me a guide of 26 people guest list, and she wants it out of state.
Wait, bachelorette party with 26 people?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss that because that would morph my thoughts.
Who has 26 friends? Holy moly. 26 friends. Whew.
That's a bridal shower, not a bachelorette.
I know. Some people have 26 people at their whole wedding.
Yeah.
God damn. This girl's popular.
Yeah.
She otherwise, I actually, sorry to just dwell on this. I don't even think I could come up with a list of 26 girls that I'm friends with. Not even like friends of friends with.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have 26 people that I even know.
Yeah, I just feel like it takes away from like the special part of it, but whatever.
I think so too. Yeah, but I'm just like, how do you even know 26 girls? I'm just assuming that it's all girls going on the trip. Damn. Okay. She otherwise has barely been in touch about any wedding stuff. She doesn't reply to messages about availability, even for her bachelorette, as well as anything else I need. Her family and fiance's sisters have been shooting down all of my ideas, and they make the majority of the guest list. It's been very stressful, and I feel like I can't accommodate everyone, as she has people too young to drink and people in their 50s on this guest list. It's making me resent the friendship, as I now feel she often uses me for emotional, that's not a word. As I now feel she often uses me for emotional labor. Background, I work 70 hours a week, shift work, nights, etc., and I have a lot going on personally. We have known each other for more than 10 years, and we were very close for many years, even living together. Since she started dating her now fiance, we have grown apart, and I've only met him 5 times in 5 years. She has been not making an effort in our friendship in those years and only calls and texts when she's stressed and wants to vent to me. Therefore, she may not know or care that I am going through a lot at the moment. Would I be the asshole if I ruin the surprise and make her help me plan?
I don't think she's the asshole.
No, I feel like the bride has a skewed expectation of what a wedding should, or not a wedding, but a wedding process and wedding party and bachelorette should be.
And there could still be a lot of surprise elements to the bachelorette, but like just be like, hey, like I really need your help with like the bare bones. Yeah. Like setting up like where, when, and then I could come up with ideas of what we're going to do and kind of plan that part of it, but you got to help out a little bit. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, wait, I have a funny bachelorette story. Okay, so now this wasn't the one that I was on, but this is like the second or third time I went to Nashville. I had gone down to see the Casey Musgraves concert with my friends Kristen and Caroline. Okay, Caroline lives in Nashville. Kristen's was getting married and her bachelorette was coming up. She was completely blind to it. She knew what weekend it was. That was it. She didn't know where it was.
What?
She didn't know who was going. She didn't know what they were doing. She knew nothing. 0, 0, 0 about it. We go to see this Casey Musgraves concert. Caroline had recently started dating this guy named Pat, and it was going to be the first time Kristen met Caroline's boyfriend, Pat. And I was there for it too, or whatever, when they met. Now, Caroline and Pat are now engaged. Everything's great.
Aww.
But so the first night that we go to meet them out, and I'm saying this because of the surprise thing, Pat was like really trying to make good conversation, and I love Pat. Make good conversation with Kristen, being the first time, it's his girlfriend's sister. I really want to make sure that like I'm asking her questions, whatever. He's like, oh my God, like how excited are you for Scottsdale? He told her where the Bachelorette was happening the first time that he met her. Oh my God. We were dying. We literally, and we were like in the middle of like one of the honky tonks on Broadway in Nashville. Like there's a live band going and we're all like, oh my God. Like, Kristen was like, what? And he was like, Scottsdale, like, you guys are going to Scottsdale, right? And then Caroline was just like looking at him, and Caroline was like, I am single. I am a single girl. I can't believe, like, she like flipped out, like, jokingly, it was fine. Yeah. And Kristen is so laid back that she doesn't care. But like the element of surprise with whatever. And Kristen was like, I literally do not care. Like, I'm so excited to go to Scottsdale.
Aww.
Like, I don't know anything about it still. You know what I mean? But that's why the surprising is just like funny to me, because I don't know. But I guess if that's what you want, I don't know. It just sounds like she needs help. And I think I would rather ask for help and risk ruining the surprise. You're not ruining the surprise. You're asking for help. I think there's a difference.
Yeah. You know? Or I feel like asking for help, though, there's a way that she could help you without ruining the surprise. And it could just be the bride asking her family member or another person that's not 17 or 21 to help plan. So that would be helping. And then the surprise still remains. So I definitely think that you need to say something, because it does kind of sound like she's using you. I don't know. I find it weird that this girl, and I'm just being really judgmental here because I have no idea the situation, but this girl is having 3 bridesmaids. One's a child, one's a very young adult, and they're both family members. So maybe they're her sisters or fiance's sisters or whatever. So you have one friend to invite into your bachelorette or into your bridal party? Yeah,
one friend to invite. That you are now dating this man who's your fiance for 5 years, and they've only met 5 times in 5 years.
Yeah.
So how close of a friend are you actually? And that's why, again, how do you plan a surprise bachelorette party for someone that you've seen like 5 times in 5 years?
You don't even know someone.
Assuming that, I mean, maybe they saw each other here and there a little bit and like still talk a little bit, but she had said that they have grown apart and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's really hard to plan a whole surprise weekend for someone that, like, yeah, you lived with, but like that, like I'm a different person than I was 5 years ago. You could say the same, right? So things change, and like I feel like that's especially even harder.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like sometimes people are very this is just me making observations about other situations that I've seen in real life. So I'm sorry if this is judgmental, but I feel like I've seen people include people in their wedding or in their like bachelorette, whatever, and they're not even friends with this person actively, but maybe they were friends in the past. Like maybe they were best friends in grade school or high school or college, but now as an adult, they see each other like once a year, once every few years, or when you're randomly home for Christmas in your hometown and you're like, oh, want to go grab a drink or whatever. You don't have to include those people in your wedding, and it's almost weirder to include them. So I feel like if there's ever someone that you're like on the fence about, or if you just need another friend in there to like make the number even to the other partner's group, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people want to match the numbers so that it looks good in photos, or maybe the reason to include someone is because you want their help on the bachelorette party or planning the bridal shower or whatever. That's probably not a good reason to include someone in your bridal party. And if you actually saw a friend 5 times in the past 5 years and you're not talking to them on a regular basis, you don't know that person anymore. Like there are people that I was friends with that I've probably seen only a handful of times in the past 5 years. And even if they were my best friend in grade school, high school, college, you no longer know them.
No.
And I know a lot of people do like a more of a sentimental thing where they're like, I'm going to include my hometown best friend, my college best friend, my high school best friend, and my current best friend. And it's like, if that works for you and you're still best friends with all of them, that's great. But if you haven't talked to your hometown best friend in the past 5 years, I feel like it's almost a burden to put that on them. Like, I don't know. There's just people where I'm like, if I was asked to be in like a certain like old friend's bachelorette party, I don't know. I guess I can't think of like specific examples in my own life, but looking at other people's examples, I'm like, I would be annoyed if they asked me, because now it's like just more work, more money, and it's like I can just show up as a guest and be happy. And it seems like that maybe should have happened in this situation. Like if you were best friends with someone in the past, saw them 5 times in 5 years, met their fiance a handful of times, maybe that person should be a guest instead of the sole person planning your bachelorette party for 26 people. Yeah. Like I would be annoyed if someone asked me that.
No, I would too. I think it's like totally crazy. And I think it's fine for the people that have like the huge bachelorette parties I think it's different than like wedding party. You know what I mean? Like if you want to have like a huge bachelorette and like that's your chance to be like, I'm not going to have you at my wedding, but like I would love to like, you know, spend the weekend with you. Like I see no problem with that. I think that's great. Like if it's like people that are like good time that you're like, oh yeah, like I know that we'd have fun. Like we only see each other like here and there, but we always have such a great time together. And like, you know, I think that's totally fine. It's just tough when they're trying to beef up their like bridal party for no reason. Yeah. That I struggle with a little bit more, but.
Or you're like using the person as it seems like this bride is. So no, I would honestly, if this was me, I would definitely talk to her and I'd be like, look, I know I haven't talked to you about what I've been dealing with in my personal life, and you know I love you and I want you to have an amazing experience. I cannot take this on right now as a bridesmaid. I'm so sorry. Like if you asked me to be your maid of honor and I knew all the things that were going to come along with that, I might have said no, just because I can't support you in a way that somebody else can. And the way that you should be supported through all of this, I feel like you need to be honest with her. And if that is going to be a friendship ruining conversation, it needs to happen now before all of this stuff happens. Because if a conversation about honesty and openness about the things you're dealing with in life, if that is going to ruin your friendship, this friendship isn't sustainable, in my opinion. So I would have that conversation sooner rather than later. And I wouldn't be doing this bachelorette thing, a girl that I've seen 5 times in the past 5 years. Yeah.
And I also just think, I don't know, like maybe it's just because of the way that I am. Like I never want to burden other people. And it's like your special weekend and everything. And I think you're totally entitled to that and like deserve that and should feel celebrated. But I feel like if someone comes to you and says that and you can't empathize with that and accept that for what it is and be like, that is totally okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a burden on you and making you sacrifice all of these things. For me, I totally get it. Like, you know, and that's part of being a good friend and kind of like that team relationship that you almost have where like you give a little, I give a little, and like we work together on this. And I think that you should be able to appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like if someone's coming to you and saying like, you deserve the best weekend ever and I'm really struggling to give you that right now, I'm reaching out because I need help, then that's all that you should have to hear.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. Communication.
Clear is kind.
Clear is kind. I love that. Everyone else agreed, not the asshole.
Oh, wow. We're like with the Reddit people today.
I know. Everyone's reasonable.
Yeah. Should we be some devil's ad for the next story? Give it a little devil's addy.
Maybe we should. Okay. Actually, somebody commented on one of our videos and said that the phrase, you know how common phrases, as like culture evolves, people start using them to mean different things. Devil's advocate actually started as like, someone commented this on one of our videos. So I'm so sorry if I'm not doing a good job of explaining this, but when people were being debated, like, should this person be a saint or not, the term devil's advocate would like just be the side where the person's like, oh, they shouldn't become a saint, and then the other side is like, we should become a saint. So it really wasn't, because I heard people say recently like, why would I want to advocate for the devil? And it's like, that's like a funny way of saying, why would you want to support the bad person in the situation, which I agree with, but it really wasn't like, that phrase doesn't mean support the bad person. It was just
seeing it from like, the other side.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a funny way of saying like,
that's cool. I didn't know the origin. Thanks for sharing that.
I know, it's interesting.
Wow.
I still think the joke of why would I want to advocate for the devil is still funny though.
Yeah. Period.
But I guess like the phrase didn't mean literally advocate for the devil. It was just like seeing the other side.
Well, amen.
Oh, what'd you say? Amen. Preach. Am I the asshole for firing my bridesmaid for disclosing her diagnosis at my bachelorette? I'm getting married in 3 weeks, and I just had my bachelorette over Easter weekend. During a quiet moment, one of my bridesmaids took me aside and told me that about 3 months ago, she was diagnosed with fetal alcohol syndrome. Obviously, I asked her what that meant for her, and she started crying because she feels differently about her relationship with her mother. We met in elementary school, and she's always had a learning disability, but she didn't know that there was a preventable cause. My other bridesmaids noticed her crying, and the evening ended up being about her. We skipped out on going to a bar in the limo I had hired because she was upset. I thought about it all today and ended up emailing her to tell her that she took away an important moment from my life. I feel bad about this happening to her, but even though she didn't always know, it's been going on for her whole life. If this was a recent thing she found out about, or if it was some kind of deadly disease, I would feel differently. But she was sitting on this for months before bringing it up at an event that was supposed to be special to me. You only get one bachelorette, and mine was totally overshadowed. episode. I felt really hurt that she did that, and I told her that I didn't want to have her in my wedding if that's how she is going to treat me at a time where the focus was supposed to be about something good in my life instead of something sad in hers. She could have waited a few more weeks until after the wedding if she wanted to have this conversation. She's still invited to the wedding, but I don't want her to be a bridesmaid after this. I was just texting my cousin, my maid of honor, and she disagreed with me doing this. She said that it sucked that we didn't go to the bar, but this other friend has already paid for her dress, so I should just let her stay. My fiance supports my choice, but I wanted another opinion. Am I the asshole? This is a good devil's advocate one. I don't know. Shit.
That's tough.
Okay. I don't know if this is like unrelated or irrelevant, but I kind of appreciate that this girl's maid of honor was honest with her and she wasn't just like, yeah, it's your wedding, fuck her. I kind of appreciate that she was like, she did spend the money on the dress, but I don't think the maid of honor should be telling the bride what to do. But I do kind of like that she was like more open-minded to the girl that was going through something. Not that the friend who made it about her was completely in the right, but I feel like that would be a really easy thing for people to like gang up on her and be like, you know what? Yeah, she shouldn't have done that. Fuck her. But the maid of honor's playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I don't know that it's grounds for expulsion from the bridal party, maybe. I think that the girl that's getting married, the bride, has, you know, a right to be upset about that, I guess. But if that one thing is gonna lead to you kicking them out of your bridal party, then I think that's kind of crazy. I mean,
yeah,
like, how close were you that like that could just like ruin everything so quickly? Also, it sounds like maybe that person has been really stressed and maybe they were like finding safety in the weekend that she was on, and she felt that it was like a safe space for her to share that with other people, because I'm sure that that's not something that's easy to tell other people about.
Yeah.
So I could kind of see her side as well there, where maybe she felt like she was in a room that she would have a lot of support around, and it sounds like she did get a lot of support.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just not the ideal time for the bride. So I can understand why she's kind of mourning the fact that she missed out on things that she wanted to do on that weekend that was meant for her. But I also think it's a little tough to say, like, you're out of my bridal party now.
Yeah. Also, just assuming, but many times on Bachelorettes, there's alcohol involved. So if this girl is drinking, people want to talk when they drink and people get emotional when they drink. So I feel like that could be a factor that led to her telling that secret, I guess. I feel like, yeah, think about how close you are with this girl, and do you see this as a lifelong friendship? And then also think about, what does someone being a bridesmaid mean to you? Because I would think that for me, the people that I want to be my bridesmaids are going to be my closest friends, the people that are there for me, that would support me through anything positive or negative, and the people that I want to spend like the most time with, and also people that I want to remember forever, because these people are in your photos that you're going to have forever. So I think that if this girl is one of your closest friends and you wanted her in your bridal party for that reason, but she made one mistake when she was going through something traumatic and hard and she went about it in a bad way, does that negate all of the reasons that you asked her to be in your bridal party? Like, does that outweigh all of those other things? And I think if the answer is yes, then sure, ask her to not be in your bridal party or kick her out. But if you can justify how amazing of a friend she has been for your whole life leading up to this moment, and you know that kicking her out of your bridal party might really hurt your friendship, is that worth it? So I think just think about it like that. Like, are you going to be friends with this girl for the rest of your life? Or is this thing that she did going to make you not even want to be friends with her? Because if that's the case, I don't think she should be in your bridal party just because she bought the dress. Like, she can even wear the same dress to the wedding and just not be in the bridal party and not stand next to you in all the photos. But if she just made one mistake, I think kicking her out of your bridal party is going to hurt your friendship way more than maybe you expect. Like, it's not just a one-time thing where you're like, well, you're not going to be in my bridal party, but our friendship will remain the same in every other capacity. That's likely not going to be the case.
Yeah. I think too, I mean, maybe I'm going out on a little bit of a stretcher, but it's almost like mean girl behavior because like clearly this person's really down about this and upset, and like then they confided in you in this group of girls, and then you're upset the way that it happened. So now you're going to be like, while you're kicked down, you just learned about this diagnosis and you're clearly very upset about it. You're also no longer allowed at my wedding because you confided in our group and told us that. Like, I don't know, for me, and maybe it's just like the way that like I see things, like I wouldn't want to kick someone down even further when they're already clearly very down. So I think it's okay to say like, I was upset that you kind of brought it up like that, but like I'm really here for you and all of this stuff. But I just think maybe it's a little bit too harsh. Especially with kind of the way that things are going for this person right now. I think that if there's someone that you cared enough about to have in your wedding, then maybe you could show up and be a really good friend for them right now too.
That is such a good point, because also I'm sure this girl, if she wasn't just looking, like I know that sometimes people bring up their own problems during someone else's event for attention. If this girl's character, like if this is almost out of character for her, and she's been a great friend to you since childhood, and this random thing happened and you're like, oh my God, why would you do that? I'm just thinking about my closest friends. It's not in any of their character to make my event about themselves. So if this happened in my friend group, I would be like, oh shit, like she's really going through it if she's bringing it up here. Like she can't even wait until we're not on my Bachelorette. I think that if you can look at who she is as a person and like get past your temporary feelings, like your feelings are valid. You're allowed to be annoyed or upset that an important night was taken away from you. That's okay. But that feeling likely will not last. That's probably a fleeting emotion that's going to pass. So if you can look past that annoyed, mad, upset feeling that you're feeling right now and be like, why did she actually do this? Is this a person that would just bring up her own shit to make an important event about her because she just wanted attention? If that's the case, then sure, maybe kick her out because she showed her true colors. You're like, if you're doing this at my Bachelorette, what are you going to do at my wedding to make it about you? But if you can see that she genuinely is just going through something and it just came out at the wrong time and she's a good person, I don't think she should have to face even more consequences. And I don't think that that's something you should ruin a friendship over. Side note, I also don't think that her having bought a dress or having not bought a dress should be the reason that she either remains or does not remain in your bridal party. Obviously, if someone bought a dress and then they got kicked out of your bridal party, that sucks and that's just annoying for everyone involved. But if you're actually not going to be friends with this girl in your life, the reason to keep her in your bridal party is not, oh, she already brought the dress, so she might as well. No, you could even give her the money for the dress. I think the dress is irrelevant. So the maid of honor's point, I think, while I might be on her side, it's not the reasoning that I agree with.
Yeah, and maybe that is more of her reasoning for feeling that way too, and she just like doesn't want to like cut us deep and be like, stop being a shitty person.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think just like deeply look at the friendship with this person. I think that's more important than the dress. It's more important than your temporary feeling of being annoyed that this one dinner was taken away from you. And I think you also need to talk to your friend, because I think that if you do have a really great friendship with this person and you can be honest with her, I think it would be fair to say, hey, like, of course I'm here for you. I do just want to get this off my chest and I'm not trying to yell at you or create further drama, but I did find it a little weird that it came up at my Bachelorette. Is there a reason for that? Like, were you just really, really feeling it in the moment? Like, of course it annoyed me a little bit. I'm sure you can understand that. I was excited for my Bachelorette, so while I'm happy to be here for you, I was just very confused as to why that came out at that time, and then go from there. Clear. What's the phrase?
Clear as kind.
Clear as kind. Yes. Also, because I feel like sometimes when things happen to us in our lives and we get annoyed at them, if you don't vent your feelings, it kind of builds up inside. And then you're like, you know what? And she did this. And she also sucks because of X, Y, and Z. And maybe those things you would never even think about outside of this really intense emotion that you're feeling right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Things do build up and then it boils over into so many other things. So that's how you just have to be honest.
Yeah. So I feel like getting this off your chest will almost avoid anger and annoyance in irrelevant situations. So I think you need to talk to her. And don't just jump to she's not in my wedding because she talked about something she was going through at my Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's tough.
Yeah.
I had the best night of sleep ever last night.
Really? That's
amazing. I went to bed I've been wearing an eye mask to bed.
Oh.
I always remember when I wake up in the middle of the night, like I'm not someone that like does things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I woke up, the eye mask wasn't on. It was on my nightstand, and I pulled the shade shut all the way on like my all the windows. I like closed all the shades.
So it's just black inside.
Yeah, and I don't remember doing it, and that's like scary to me.
The other day in my sleep, I woke up. So down the shore, Erin and I, we have our beds in the same room. I slept in the other room because I didn't feel like sharing a room with her. Whenever I sleep in a bed that's not my own bed, I have like really weird dreams, and they're really vivid and like realistic. And I had this like dream that I left the oven on, like preheated. So I just like jump out of bed and start sprinting towards the door to go turn the oven off, and then when I just like reach it, I was like, wait a second, that was a dream. And then I just like go back to bed and like pass out, and I was like, that was so funny, because if anyone else was in this room, they'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's funny. Oh my
Sleeping is very weird.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let's do this one. Am I the asshole for wanting to go to Mexico for my bachelorette? I, 27 female, have been engaged to my fiance, 28 male, since last year. Our wedding is next fall, and we couldn't be more excited. I asked one of my best friends to be my maid of honor, and she said how excited she was to plan my bachelorette. Initially, she and one of my other bridesmaids were thinking of planning a spa day and karaoke night. Everyone would get day passes to a spa, spend the day by the pool, or get some treatments a la carte, and then go to karaoke that night. I initially thought this was a cute idea, especially because a lot of my friends don't make a ton of money, and this way everyone could participate. But planning the wedding ourselves was stressful, and when I'm stressed, I tend to defer to what other people want and put my own feelings aside, to the point where I have frequent breakdowns and panic attacks. So I got to talking with the other bridesmaid planning the bachelorette, and she really put things into perspective. She suggested we get one of those all-inclusive resort packages and really do it up. I was hesitant at first, of course, because like I said, most of my friends don't make a ton of money, and neither do I. But my friend was so sweet and really asked me, what do you want? I mean, who could say they'd rather spend a couple of hours at a spa than go on a whole trip to Mexico? I was so ecstatic about this new idea, but when I told my maid of honor, she looked at me like I had 3 heads. She mentioned everything I had thought about in my anxiety, like my friend's financial situations, but I told her that this is what I want. Besides, the party isn't for at least another year, so if we tell people now, they can start saving up. She told me she was shocked that I would even ask my friends to save up for a year for a party that's all about me, and that I was selfish, and to think about the possibility that so many of my friends wouldn't be able to go. I was honestly taken aback. Like, you have a whole year to save up $1,500. I can definitely scrape together $1,500 in a year, barring any unforeseen wedding expenses. Second, it's not selfish of me to want to spend my bachelorette with my best friends in the world, and in the grand scheme of things, $1,500 isn't a ton of money for an amazing vacation. Plus, some girls could skip the alcohol package and share a room. That would bring the cost down a ton. She said she wasn't sure if she'd be able to save for a whole year because she's been saving up for her big 30th birthday trip in the winter, and she was planning on spending a lot of money on herself. And she calls me selfish. If she has all this money, I don't see why she can't just put aside $1,500 for an amazing trip with the girl who asked her to be her maid of honor. Plus, I literally always do what everyone else wants me to do. This is the one thing I ask of my friend, and she's treating me like I asked her for her firstborn. We haven't really spoken since, and I'm really starting to second guess my choice of maid of honor. Am I the asshole?
I think you might be the asshole, honey.
Okay. I think she's an asshole, but maybe not for the reasons that you think.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to go first?
Okay, yeah. Well, like, I think maybe she's an asshole if she knows that her friends don't have a lot of money, and then she's like, $1,500, I could scrape that by in a year, and like, that's fine. Barring any wedding expenses. Okay, well, barring like your one friend's car broke down. Yeah. The other one has a mortgage or rent, and like, maybe
also
is
just
going
wants to
to
go
another
on a personal trip.
Yeah.
Her friend's birthday trip. Why is that not valid?
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's why I just think. Also, it sounds like planning was already taking place. So like, they had the spa day plan, they had the karaoke, like plans were already in motion, and then she was like, oh wait, hold on. So like, if anything, that could be like a little bit disrespectful to the person that was planning all of this stuff, because they're like, wait, you were like on board with this, like when did you snap your fingers and now you changed your mind? And yeah, I don't know, I just don't like the tone that she's using to speak about other people should be able to do these things for her, as if like, I don't know, just not my favorite.
I think that she's an asshole for just assuming that all of her friends would be able to. And then when they're telling her that they can't, her getting mad at them. And then also her friend being like, I have a personal trip for myself that I have to save up for. And then the bride being like, well, why wouldn't you want to use that money for my wedding? And it's like, okay, you know why. Right. You know why this girl would rather go on her personal 30th birthday trip than spend $1,500 on a bachelorette trip for somebody else.
Yeah.
You would do the same thing. In fact, you are doing the same thing by planning a trip for yourself. And I'm sure if somebody else asked you, you wouldn't give this trip money up for someone else's trip.
Right.
Which is fine. Go on your own trip. Just don't get mad at other people for doing the same thing. I don't think she's an asshole for wanting to plan something different and for canceling the first plan. So for example, if everyone was planning this spa day and people maybe crossed off one Saturday of the year and they're like, I'm gonna save this date for my friend, whatever, like we'll get the passes, we'll pull it together. I think if I was in a bridal party and that was what the plan for the bachelorette was going to be, if the bride came to me and said, hey guys, to be honest, I'm not into the spa day. I said yes to it because it seemed easy. I'm not even really excited about it. I feel bad about changing the plan, but I want to cancel it. I just don't even want to do it. I would be like, oh, okay, let's not do it. Let's not do the spa day if you're not excited about it. If they then said, I want to go on a trip to Mexico for $1,500, I'd be like, oh, that's quite different than a few $100s at a spa. So I would be shocked. What I think OP should do is say that to her friends, tell them the truth. I'm not excited about a spa day. Me and this bridesmaid, it is possible for both of us to go to Mexico. So we're going to go to Mexico. If you'd like to come with us and be on my bachelorette, I would love to have you, but I understand that it's a completely different plan and it's a lot of money. So if you can't go, I get it. But me and this other girl are going to go and do that. I would say it like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. That's like, if that were me, then I would be like, okay, you don't want to go, that's fine. Whoever does want to go, let's just go. And like, that's fine.
Yeah. I don't think it's rude. Like I said in the beginning, I don't think it's rude to ask people things.
No.
And to present them with an opportunity. But I think it's rude to get mad if they don't want or if they cannot go.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
That part of it I agree with. I just don't like her diminishing people's like expenses. Like you don't know how much money they have, and like you shouldn't put, if someone says that they can't go somewhere for a financial reason, that's not your business of why or how they should make it happen. It should just be like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not like that's fine.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like it's really weird for her to be sitting there being like, it's $1,500. Like, that isn't that much money. And you have a year to save it. $1,500 is a lot of money to many people, especially for a trip that's going to be all about somebody else. And also, I do think that it's a lot to ask people to save for a year for something for me. It's like, how many things are they going to have to give up over the next year in order to afford this trip? Like, I think that is selfish. I think if people were able to afford that without having to sacrifice so many things, sure, let's all go. But if you're really asking them to, because that's what saving is. If you're saving for a year, you are foregoing other things and putting that money into savings. So you are giving things up in order to go on this trip. I think if someone had to give up things for an entire year to go on a week-long or a 5-day-long vacation for my bachelorette, I would feel bad about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, like, not for nothing, like a wedding in general, like most of the time you end up having to stay in a hotel. It's 1 to 2 nights. That's like almost $500. Then all the food while you're there, minus like the rehearsal dinner or whatever maybe. Then you have to give a card for the wedding. You have to buy something for the bridal shower. Like, weddings are just expensive in general. So being like $1,500, that's like nothing. Okay, if it were cut and dry $1,500 for you getting married, okay, maybe I could do that for you as a friend, but it's not just that.
Yeah, that's
there's all these other things that you're putting money into, you know what I mean? So for you as the bride, I think it's a little bit selfish on your part to just discredit everyone else's financial situations and lives and expect everyone to just drop everything and do every single thing for you when they're already giving up a lot, even just to be in your wedding, probably.
I agree. I think you are an asshole, but I think there's a way to achieve this without being an asshole.
Yes. Go about it the right way.
Yeah. Okay, should we do maybe one more?
Yeah. Baby, baby.
I kind of want to just talk about this topic just for a few minutes. We kind of talked about this already, but this girl basically cannot afford to go on her sister-in-law's bachelorette, and she doesn't know how to say no. And I was thinking about this as I was reading the story. It's basically just, it's so expensive. It's like $500 for this and like $400 for this dinner and like all this stuff. And I feel like clear as key. I don't think it's rude to, like, if let's say you're in a wedding party and the maid of honor is planning the bachelorette. I feel like sometimes if you were to go to the maid of honor and you're like, hey, I can't afford to go, it's kind of likely that the maid of honor would be like, why? Like, that's just annoying. Like, we're doing this for our friend, you know? But I feel like you can always go to the bride and be like, hi, like, I don't want to be on your bachelorette, and be like, oh, guys, like, I can't do this, or like, I'm going to stay home for this activity, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think you can always explain to people that you can't afford all the amazing things they have planned, and it's going to be so fun for them, and you don't want to drag them down. Like, I feel like even with the last story, like, you could say something is going to cost like $1,500, but I feel like even when something is expected, like, it always costs more than that. Because when you get on vacation, everyone's just like, yeah, let's do it, like, another round, another this, like, let's get the section of the club. And it's like, you can always say no, and you can always tell the bride, like, I want you to have the best time, and if I am there, I'm not going to be able to have a good time with you. Like, I just can't afford it. And I just feel like everyone should just understand that.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I meant. Like, I don't know. Finances are tough. You know what I mean? For everyone sometimes. So just take them for what they're saying, and it's none of your business. Yeah. You just kind of have to accept what they say. Vroom, vroom. I'm in me mom's car. Do you remember that?
Yes. Is it a Vine?
Yeah. Get out me car. Aw.
Okay, I don't know if this one's going to be interesting, but I hope it is.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for telling my friend to take a Greyhound to my bachelorette party? A year ago, my maid of honor and I were planning my batch party. My maid of honor and I came up with affordable lodging options that were within driving distance so more people could come. The girls were given 2 choices for when the batch party would happen and voted for the end of September. Everyone had 4 months to figure out their work schedules, etc., so that they could come. The plan was to take off of work on Friday and leave Thursday after work to drive to the Airbnb. We would be home Sunday afternoon. 7 girls confirmed that they were able to come for the scheduled dates and pay their share. Monday of the bachelorette party week, maid of honor posts the address in the group chat, and our group starts discussing who will ride in each car. Maid of honor reiterates that we're leaving Thursday after work. Lucy doesn't respond until I send another message the next day asking if she can coordinate with Mary, who's giving her a ride. Lucy responds that she really can't leave until Friday morning, but she can offer a couch in her apartment. This is 2 days before the trip and the first time she's mentioned her conflict. Lucy doesn't drive. I looked up Greyhounds going from home city to destination and found a one-way ticket for $73. I texted, there's a Greyhound that leaves Friday morning and can get you to the destination by 5 p.m. Friday. We can pick you up from there and get you to the Airbnb. Lucy never responded. Mary lives an hour away and got stuck late at work, so she decided to leave Friday morning. Mary calls and texts Lucy to tell her the new plan and coordinate pickups, but gets no answer. Kelee, who was supposed to ride with Mary, is MIA Friday morning too. I call them both and get no answer, so I tell Mary to drive everyone in her car to the Airbnb. Kelee texts us later that she overslept, but she'll drive herself up and bring Lucy. Kelee calls and texts Lucy Friday morning, but gets no response. I contact Lucy again and get nothing. We return home Sunday, still no response from Lucy. Oh my God. My wedding is the next weekend and absolutely wonderful, but I realize Lucy isn't there. She's not a bridesmaid. I host monthly mixers that Lucy usually goes to, but she doesn't go to the October one and doesn't respond to me when I remind her about the November one. I would start wondering if Lucy is still alive.
Yeah, is she dead?
I'm not sure if she's mad or just busy, so I give her space. It's been 8 months since the batch party, and I still haven't heard from her. I've sent her a couple of messages, but she never responds. I was worried something happened to her, but a mutual friend of ours, Rachel, saw her a few weeks ago at an event, and Lucy was fine. Rachel thinks it's rude that Lucy blew off my wedding and isn't speaking to me. I feel guilty easily, so at first I thought I might be the asshole for telling Lucy to take the bus, but now I wonder if Lucy was the one in the wrong. Lucy has gotten no contact with her friends before, including myself, just from mental exhaustion and isolated behavior for months at a time, so this isn't exactly new behavior. Am I the asshole for telling her to take the bus?
No.
Lucy seems like she has her own shit going on.
Yeah.
What a weird freaking thing to do.
Yeah, just to like completely go MIA like the whole time. And like,
yes.
I mean, props to the girl, the bride, for like really trying to reach out to her and everything still. I mean, God, I would just like toss in this freaking towel after a month. I'd be like, okay, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and she never expressed that she was upset about this offering and like all of these things. And no offense, but if you don't drive, then it's kind of up to you to find your way around. Like, that's not anyone else's fault, for real. They tried to accommodate you. Then that girl called you Friday morning even, and you still didn't respond. So like, if you want to go tit for tat, then that's your issue. But no, I don't think that the bride's the asshole at all.
This is so bizarre.
Yeah, petty.
So petty.
Yeah.
This is so weird. I can never imagine being that mad. It's just like shocking that she was so close with this bride that she was going to her bachelorette party, but then she fully skips her wedding and goes no contact.
Yeah.
I feel like we have a skewed perception of certain situations because our friendships are very healthy and reasonable. And sometimes when I read these stories, I try to see it from my perspective, but I know that I'm just very lucky when it comes to friendships.
Same.
So I cannot even imagine any of my friends doing this. And I just know for a fact that none of my friends would do this. And it's just this crazy that people agree to go on someone's bachelorette. Like, that's how close you assume you are with someone. And then you just fully skip it. And then you fully skip their wedding.
Yeah.
Like, what does the friendship mean to you at that point? Because it seems like it means nothing.
Yeah, no, it can't mean too much.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no. Asshole.
Lucy's
you are not
crazy.
the asshole for suggesting a Greyhound.
No.
Lucy got to work on herself.
Sometimes I feel like people just expect everyone to go out of their way to do everything for you. Like, if I was going on a bachelorette and every other girl's schedule aligned but mine didn't, I would just know that I have to figure it out myself. And they were going out of their way to provide solutions for her. No, she's crazy. This is so bizarre to me.
Same. As you were reading it, I was like, wait.
Like, what is
another month
here?
went by and she still was inviting her, and I don't know.
I would really be wondering about, I would just be thinking that that something happened to her.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad that she clarified that, because I really was like, wow, maybe.
Yeah, it would be a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Or something. Weird. Okay, I feel like this is just a good lesson. Be honest in friendships, and also just be reasonable. Like, everyone has their own life that's just as intricate and complicated as yours. And it's okay to ask favors of your friends, but like, they don't owe us everything in their life, you know?
No.
They don't owe us all their savings or like all their time and energy. Like, let's just be frickin' for real.
Yeah, and I think too, friendships, relationships, people that you're married to, dating, don't always have to be 50-50. I think like as a whole, you be 100%. So like some days you could give 80 and that person could give 20. But at the end of the day, you care about this person, you love them, and you kind of take them for that. So just keep that in mind, that like maybe sometimes they don't have it in them right now because they're doing something else to not give you that 50% that you're expecting. So in those times, like step up and you be that friend that they need at that time. Don't kick each other when they're down, and just be there to support each other. And like, what the heck?
That.
Yeah.
I love that. So cute.
A little 80-20 action is okay sometimes, or 70-30, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes when you can give 20, they're going to be the ones to give 80.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Be kind to one another. Like,
be kind.
Like Ellen DeGeneres used to say, right?
Yes,
isn't that what she used
before
to say?
she got canceled for being a bitch.
Oh, God.
I think that's what happened. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Share it with your friends, with one friend.
Or two.
Yeah, and if you have any crazy bachelorette stories or any stories at all, please write in. We made a subreddit, so you can share them there, or you can just DM them if you don't want it to be public. I'm trying to figure out the best way for people to write in stories. Is it on Reddit? Is it on email? Instagram DMs? We'll see. But please share stories with us, because I want to know what's happening with people in our own community.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because I feel like I see people's usernames, like people that constantly comment on the YouTube, and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm emotionally attached to these people now.
Yeah.
And they always comment, and I appreciate it so much. And I'm like, tell me about your life. It makes it more personal. So send us your stories, and yeah, we appreciate you. Love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
Bye.